Hi, this is James Gordon of Arturo Library here with the first book in the Doom series. The very first book I'll be reviewing today. Doom, Kneel Deep in the Dead by Davidoff Hugh and Brad Wienerrader. The very first offer, that's a conundrum. The real name to this offer is David Fredman. So the very first one, Davidoff, which is Welsh, that's a conundrum. David Fredman, that's the real offer's name. This was published by uh, Target Star Books in 1995. Kicking off with this Doom series I've been looking forward to, this first book just sucked. I could not believe how bad this was. I was not expecting it to be so awful when I started the Doom series. I was expecting this to be a lot of fun, just like the game of the same name, but it is just this is a terrible book. I was so not only disappointed by how bad it was, but bored by it. How boring it was. I couldn't believe how boring this book got to the point where I just plowed through this thing just to get it done with. And this isn't a very thick thick book. This is only 250 pages, so so it took me 2 days to just get through this thing. But I did not have fun reading this book at all, and I'll explain later on in my review why this first book was just awful. And I really am hoping that the other books in the series are a lot better, because this first one, this was just shit. All right, on to review. Plot: U.S. Marine Flynn Target is being transferred to Phobos after refusing to open fire on civilians during a war in the Middle East, who were mistaken to be a terrorist group known as Scythe of Glory. The corps that Flynn works for, the UAC, Union Aerospace Corporation, has swept the incident under the rug and pinned Flynn responsible for this friendly fire accident, even though he didn't shoot at them. Originally going to be a guard stationed on Phobos with two UAC Marines, both named Ron, as guards to ensure Flynn reaches his destination. But during the trip from Earth to Phobos, the space transport receives a distress call from the base that is under attack by an unknown hostile force and the gates have opened. Both Ron and Flynn are ordered to investigate the attack and find out what's going on. But neither Ron will give Flynn a sidearm against strict orders. Flynn refuses to follow company orders and beats up both Rons, taking their sidearm, a 10mm pistol. Flynn gives both Rons the option to join him when they are ready to work together or stay here. As Flynn leaves the hangar and enters the base, he finds one of his war buddies, Bill, but notices something is off with his friend. Bill gives him the evilest grin he has ever seen and tries to kill Flynn with his rifle. Flynn fires back, hitting Bill in the throat, but Bill is still moving and shooting. Flynn pumps more rounds into his friend till Bill finally goes down after being shot in the head. Flynn realizes that his friend has been turned into a zombie. Taking his rifle and spare ammo, he fights off more zombies till he's pinned by a zombie woman, letting loose with her rifle. Once Flynn is able to wound her, Flynn demands answers, but all the woman zombie says is, "The gate is opened." Flynn kills her and fears that Arlene, a Marine he has a crush on and served together during combat, has also been stationed here, might be in trouble. Flynn hopes to find her along with his other friends, praying they haven't been killed or turned to zombies. After running and fighting his way through zombies, demons, and other horrors, Flynn finds the gate that transports him to another base. However, he loses all his weapons and armor as he's forced to fight naked while recovering his lost weaponry and body armor. When he regains firepower, he fights through more zombies and demons till he finds Arlene. However, Flynn's problems are only about to get worse when Arlene reveals they are on Deimos that disappeared before the invasion, and it's up to them to save the human race from being wiped out by the forces of hell. This was a terrible novel that's loosely based on the video game of the same name. Poorly written, as there was very little to hardly any detail, making it difficult to understand what was going on, along with little to none scenery description on places and locations to the point where it was mostly featureless. The pacing of this novel feels very rushed, sloppy, and past tense, like the authors are slamming their foot on the accelerator, not once backing off, and constantly adding more and more action to the point where it was over-exaggerated and focuses too much on it and none of story plot in detail. Also, there is no explanation to the evasion from hell along with a bunch of other unanswered questions. Again, the authors don't go into the detail which they should have answering these questions rather than spending too much time on action. There is also film, Arthur, and pulp culture references that feel shoehorned into the novel, which I felt doesn't really fit with the story at all and at times felt forced. Not only is the story structured badly written, but the characters themselves I couldn't stand either. And when they are and when they find each other later on in the novel, they point their guns at each other and yelling until they both lower their weapons and realize it's them, which felt so dumb. Flynn Target and Arlene Sanders were the most annoying bunch I have ever read. Flynn spends most of the time running away from demons and other enemies, then fighting them, speaks out loud, which gives away his position, laughing at bad times, disregarding his weapons once they have ran out of ammo, which he goes and finds other weapons along with more ammo, only to repeat this over and over again. And whenever he's facing against an enemy, he's constantly comparing the situation to his past, which he does numerous times. He also says a bunch of weird and odd lines throughout the novel. Flynn also tries talking with not only a few zombies during the course of this novel, but even the imps, which nearly cost him his life. Arlene is portrayed as this tough yet hot badass marine in the mind of Flynn, however she too is annoying like him. She says the oddest and weird things and at times isn't making sense, which she's trying to explain what's going on, how the demons invaded Phobos base, how they teleported Deimos, along with how she ended up on Phobos in the first place. She even at one point says an Adam West Batman line and telling Flynn to watch his language near the end of the novel, and yet she was fine with what Flynn said earlier. The rest of the characters we come to know in the beginning of this novel were either unlikable or unrememberable. No effort was put into knee-deep in the dead. It feels rushed and cheap with nothing memorable about it, no interesting or fun characters or anything else that would remind you of the awesome game of Doom at all. It's like the authors didn't bother to take notes on the game and just made up a terrible story that comes off as a badly written fan fiction with little to no of the game it's supposed to be based on. Reading Knee Deep in the Dead was very boring and unexciting to the point where I plowed through this novel to be done with it because it was so bad as I wished id Software picked someone else to write this novelization of Doom. Because these two authors fail so badly to recreate the fun and terror of Doom. If they added more detail, storytelling, along with easing off the accelerator just a bit to slow the pace down, then maybe this novel would have been a lot better. Overall, I don't recommend Doom Knee Deep in the Dead. It's a terrible novelization of the game. You're better off playing the FPS classic than reading a novel loosely based on it, as it only would be a waste of your time. The game was way better. And that is it for the review, and as I said, this book was just terrible. This book is fucking awful. As a reading this fan, I thought it should have been retitled Knee Deep in the Shit, because that's what this was. Was nothing like Doom at all. And while there's a debate whether there is a debate whether it's possible that a good video game can get a good film adaptation, which a lot of times is mostly missed than hitting the mark. This, I felt, was just a complete miss of the game itself. Like, I didn't expect this to be a carbon copy of the video game Doom, because the original game is like so basic and it's easy. Basically, it's just you got this nameless character which is named Doom Guy, which is a cool name. And he goes around basically traveling from one end of the base fighting demons and stuff and the game even the game has like little storytelling. But that was okay. This, I was expecting more out of it, and I didn't get that. What I got was just some guy that's just what I got was a bunch of annoying characters I couldn't care less for, and I wish at one point the real Doom Guy comes in, kills them, and then takes over. That would have been better, but yeah, Flynn Taggart is not the Doom Guy. It's just a imposter. But the one thing I really was expecting from this book was like the character going through like exploring each part of the base in vivid detail, having to like stock up not only on food and medical supplies, but like food and like him sleep, having to sleep, because let's be honest, like there's no way that a person just can go through an entire base in one day. That's just too much work. And there is only one scene where the characters have sleep. There's just only one scene they have like a few hours of sleep, and that is it. And only 2 scenes where they eat food, and that's it. They just go through this thing, and they're like constantly saying, oh, I feel so tired, but I pushed on, like constantly throughout this book. And This book was just fucking awful, and I was actually looking up other reviews of this book on YouTube, and yeah, everyone has the same opinion on this book. It's a complete joke. So I really am hoping that Doom 2 Hell on Earth will be a lot better than this book, and if not, if that book is not good at all, then I'll just read Richard Lehman's Flesh to just give me something else to read, so I have something hopefully I'll enjoy. Because if I have to read like another bad book after reading a bad book, it's just gonna kind of put me in the bad mood, and that can really hinder my reading. So hopefully this Doom 2 Hell on Earth will be better than this pile of shit over here. And if not, then I'll just read Richard Lehman's Flesh, and then after I read Richard Lehman's Flesh, then I will finish off the first two, the other two Doom books in the series, uh, Eternal Sky and Endgame. And if those turn out to be bad, then I'll read another book just to kind of just to space it out. Then I'll go straight to Doom 3, and hopefully those be, and maybe those might be better. I don't know, but I'll find out. I'll find out later on. I'll find out later on today when I go to read Doom Hell on Earth. But overall, don't bother with the first book at all. You're better off just playing either the original first two, like the original Doom or Doom 2, or even Doom 3. You're just better off to play those games. They're a lot more fun. But that is it for the review today. I hope you all enjoyed it. And as I said, I will be reading Doom 2 Hell on Earth next. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook group with the same name. A place to post, share, and review fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.